Hello my friends, Russia eagerly wants the ceasefire and peace agreements with Ukraine right here, right now. And that's why Putin asked Lukashenko, his puppet, to promote that idea. It all sounds strange from the Russian side because they want to put their rockets to Belarus. And President Zelensky already have responded to that. We're gonna talk about it later. But what we see here that Russia is afraid of the future Ukrainian counterattack that is imminent. They know that they'll lose it and they don't have any resources to stop it, and Ukraine might create the avalanche that could go even to Crimea. Zelensky said that the fact that Putin wants to transfer the nuclear weapons to Belarus means that negotiations with the Chinese leader failed, because China is totally against the expanding of the nuclear club countries. Moreover, when Chinese leader Xi Jinping visited Moscow, they signed the paper not to escalate the situation using nukes and not to send the nukes to the third countries. And 1 week after that agreement, Russia wants to send nukes to Belarus. And Lukashenko wants to restore the launching pads on the Belarus territory. Plus, President Zelensky said that basically Belarus is not the sovereign country any longer, and even Lukashenko cannot decide what weapons he will have on his territory. Well, it seems like China wanted to solve this, speaking with Putin, saying to withdraw his forces from Ukraine, but Putin will never do it. Well, at least it's my idea, and I told you to wait like a couple of weeks after the China-Russia talks, and we already see the result after 1 week. It shows that Russia was not able to negotiate with China the Chinese peace plan. And as for Ukrainian side, there should not be any kind of the ceasefire or peace agreements until Russia would withdraw their forces from Ukraine, and President Zelensky again today reminded that stuff. Plus, we have the news about the possible talks between Xi Jinping and President Zelensky, and officials are now working to provide this conversation between two parties. The commander of the United NATO forces in Europe, General Christopher Cavalli, said that we should not let Russia to win this war. It may lead to unforeseen circumstances for the NATO countries and for democracies. He said that 11,000 Ukrainian soldiers are now going through the training in European bases, and he says that those soldiers will influence this war and will change the outcome of it. And the idea here is to get more quality instead of quantity. We know that Russia has lots of the quantity of the old tanks. They have more population compared to Ukraine, so more resources. But for Ukraine, it's crucial to use the limited resources properly. And that is why we get better training and modern-day weaponry. And that is what I'm talking about. This article was published on the Russian Zvezda resource, which is quite popular. So they say that 2,000 mobilized soldiers are capable to destroy the Leopard tanks with bare shovels. They say that Leopard 2 is so terrible tank that even if 2,000 of our soldiers were equipped with shovels, so they will be able to destroy it. I wish I could comment it, but it seems like it is the Russian logic, basically. They use more men, more meat to fight against Ukraine, and Ukraine uses more training and logic. I think it's the usual stuff for Russia. If you see their history, in any war they had severe losses compared to their enemy side. Hey, hurrah, and that. That is what they did actually in the Second World War. Their managers were just throwing the meat force, destroying the German positions. And here is the huge difference between the autocratic Russia and democratic Ukraine. I'm very happy that we joined the democratic world and we got rid of our communist past than we were the part of the Soviet Union. The life of the Russian citizen or Soviet Union citizen, as it was before, is nothing for the system. You're like the ant in the anthill. In Ukraine, we value every life. Every life loss is the tragedy for Ukraine. And that's why I think it was fighting. We shouldn't go to our past that was really terrible. And honestly, we are kind of different with Russians. They understood it a long time ago and they tried to eliminate the Ukrainian identity, sometimes together with millions of Ukrainian lives. And we got famines in the history, especially in 1930s. Then Stalin Ukraine got the power. And now it's the time that we are free, and Russia still wants to get rid of our identity and say that Ukrainians are Russians. Poland and Korea will build the factory on the Polish territory to produce the K2 tanks, which are one of the best tanks out there, but very expensive. We are entering the second month of the spring, but it looks like it's sleeping in Ukraine, and winter is awake because this is the eastern part. Donbass and Bakhmut, they have the same weather, lots of the snow, and for sure it will stop the activity of the forces from both of the sides, so I do not expect significant movement in the Bakhmut city. JDAM bombs were delivered to Ukraine, and Ukraine confirmed that we actively used them on the front lines. We were able to design the special links to attach the Western-made bombs under the Soviet airplanes. And new Polish and Slovakian MiGs that we have already, they will also be able to carry the Western-made ammunition. According to the British intelligence, Russia is losing lots of the Zoopark 1M radar systems that helps Russians to identify the positions of our artillery, plus they create distortions. This is a very rare system, but it creates the electronic trace that helps Ukrainian side to identify the position of that unique complex. Zoopark 1M, and probably I'll publish the video of the destruction of this complex from the drone, and for that please go to my Telegram channel. You may find it in the video description just below. And Chinese officials already say that they're against the transfer of the nukes from Russia to Belarus. Those are our guys from 82nd Brigade. I wonder where are they right now, because those pictures were taken from the training on the strikers, by the way, American made, that's why they have the American flag with them, and American instructors also, but the strikers have been already delivered to Ukraine. That I know for sure, so probably our guys already at home right now, going through the repetition before the counter-strike. Australia sends hundreds of those carton-made drones to Ukrainian army. They may look very cheap, but still they may carry explosives. They're very easy to fly, and still they have the special military-rated guidance systems. Plus, they are made out of the recycling materials, which is good for the nature. So after they conduct the landing on some sort of the object, they minimize the debris. On this video of our attack airplane Sukhoi Su-25, you can see that we use quite old unguided bombs. However, it was filmed quite a long time ago from what I see, and hopefully right now Su-25 may even carry the JDAM bombs, but it is the attack airplane and it rarely flies on the high altitudes. That's why I think it's not very useful to drop the gliding bombs, because gliding bomb needs the high altitude to cover the distance. Yeah, our pilots are capable to film some sort of the videos, and still they're unable to publish all of the stuff, but we can see at least something. And this is not a bomb basically, I think it's the extra fuel tank that gives more range to the airplane. It has two from the opposite side as well, and video is fantastic. I would like to try to fly the Sukhoi Su-25, but I'm not the military pilot. From what I can see, the runway is quite okay, even for F-16 fighter jet. Japan applies strict sanctions on Russia, stopping export of steel, aluminium, unmanned air vehicles, components for aviation and electrical equipment. So now the main source for Russia is still China, but China may close the supply lines as well if Russia would not behave according to China will. Now let's go to the tactical map. Russia basically has two of the vectors of their attack near to Svatova. It's Luhansk Oblast, and here is the 92nd Brigade from the Ukrainian side. Russians failed their attack. They've took some sort of the ground before, but our forces were able to free it again. And I'm gonna post the video of that combat operation on my Telegram channel. So my friends, go to the link and subscribe for me over there. I use it as alternate resource, so if someday I'll lose my YouTube channel, you may always find me on Telegram. And here's the Donbass with Bakhmut, and Russia also has many vectors of their attacks, but those are not as significant as in Bakhmut. However, recent time they also stopped and bogged down, as I said to you before, in the Bakhmut city. It was the good tactics from the Ukrainian side to send more reinforcements to the area at the proper time, and also weather plays a great role over there. And you see how many forces Ukrainian side has in the region. Lots of the battalions, lots of the units, so it's simply impossible to encircle that part in the urban environment. To try to encircle our forces, Wagners would have to go forward, far away, at least 15 kilometers behind the Chasiv Yar, but it's not possible for them either. They had severe losses, as General Mark Milley said. Then they start the attack on Bakhmut, they got around 50,000 soldiers, and now they got 30,000. So Ukraine caused Russia severe losses, especially for Wagner forces, but Wagner's and Prigozhin says that they caused Ukraine severe losses in Bakhmut to release the Russian forces for the future attack. But that attack never happened. They tried in Vuhledar, but failed. Basically, yes, Russia announced the massive assault this winter, but it didn't happen really. Most of the military experts say that they will go from Belarus again on Kyiv, they will push to Kharkiv again, they will go to other places of Ukrainian controlled territory, but really it didn't happen. They just slowly scrolled to Bakhmut, trying to encircle it. That's it. That's their main advantage throughout this winter. And also, yes, they took Soledar. It's not even the city, it is town. And even though Ukraine was in defense throughout the winter time, we were still able to cause Russia severe losses. And from strategic point of view, this winter is good for Ukraine more than Russia. And this is the Bakhmut city. As you can see, there are no any more vectors of the Russian attack on the north. They just stack over there, they stack in the factory and stack near to this water reservoir. They got 3 vectors of the attack from the south, and this vector over here is very successful compared to all of them, and they move each day but very slowly. For the last time they moved just 1 street ahead. And again, Hromova is crucially important for the Ukrainian side. Russia is not far away, but we use this crossroad for supplies, to deliver supplies and goods for the Ukrainian army. And as you can see, Ukraine was able to build the defense lines, and there is the elevation, this is the hill, and this is the down part of the city. That is also bad for the Russian side, because attacking the high ground is obviously bad. But even though if Russia would take the city under their control, and now I'm in great doubt about it, they would be stopped by Ukrainians here in the hills. For Avdiivka, there is no significant change throughout the time, so we have the Russian attack on the south and on the north, and capable to take the ground. It was the same picture a long time ago for this, and also they have 1 vector, but were not able to penetrate the Ukrainian defense in Avdiivka. And this trench was reported to be filmed in Bakhmut, near to the city. So I do not expect the attack from the Russian forces in nearby future until the snow melts, but after it melts, there will be a very muddy ground out there, also not good for attack. So the next week would be terrible for Russia. Well, it's not good for Ukraine as well. It's very hard, but at least we stay at the same place. The Ukrainian soldiers don't need to change their positions rapidly, but they have the rotations, but rotations could be performed in a slow manner. And Wagners need to attack very fast, but they stack. And let's see the difference for the situation around Bakhmut and in the city for 1 month. So this screenshot is on the 1st of March, and this screenshot is on the 31st of March. Well, what can I say, that Russia moved over here, and they've took the eastern part of the city, and they've took the southern part of the city also. They also took the part of the factory, but that's it for 1 month with the most capable Russian army, and Ukraine was able to stop them in Bakhmut. I'm very surprised about it. Actually, I am quite confused even, because according to this map, it was time to withdraw the forces even 1 month ago. But our general command obviously knows better than me, and they're much more competent, so they decide to stay in Bakhmut and resist. With that Russian and Wagner army success in the city, I think they will be staying there around Bakhmut till the beginning of the Ukrainian counterattack. That is also possible in that particular area. Well, my friends, now press the like to this video. If you want to support my job, you may go to the links which are in the video description just below. And if you support me on Patreon or the sponsorship on the YouTube channel, you'll also have the opportunity to follow me on my private Telegram channel, where you can get the access for my regular streams and also podcasts. I'm gonna record one more podcast this weekend. So my friends who support me and who do not support me, who just watch my videos, thank you so much for your awesome support. You're great, you're the best. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.